Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is square roots. The first line says the square root of blank falls between 11 and 12, and there's a drop down menu, so let's try to figure out where that is. These are all of the numbers that we're going to have to work with, so I'm going to come over here and I'm actually going to go ahead and put in the square roots. The first one was the square root of 17, which I saw on the drop down menu. Let me see what else is there. 18, so I'm going to do the square root of 18. And I'm going to come back over here again and say the square root of 170. And do it again. The square root of 130, 4, and 5. I think I can do all of those. The square root of 130, 4, and finally the square root of 5. Alright, so now we have them all in our calculator. We should be able to figure out answers. We want the one that falls between 11 and 12. Well, that's 4 point, 13 point. Here's an 11.4. That definitely falls between 11 and 12. So the answer for that would be 130. Now it says the square root of 300 falls between what two numbers? So let's do the square root of 300. 17.3. So that means it falls between 17 and 18. The next one, the square root of what falls between 13 and 14? Well, let's go ahead and try 130. Let's try the square root of 130. I'm just taking a guess there, and it falls between 11 and 12. So my guess was off a little bit, so I know I need to go up. So let's go ahead and try the square root of 170. And oops, I didn't put that in the right place. Let me try that again. I'm sorry. The square root of 170 is 13.03, definitely between 13 and 14. And then it says the square root of 24 falls between what two numbers? So let's do square root of 24, and that falls between 4 and 5 because it is 4.9. So between 4 and, I hope there's 5 down here, 5. There it is. All right. And then this next one says between which two consecutive numbers does negative square root of 50 lie? So we have to be careful putting the negatives in because it has to be on the outside of the radical of the square root sign. So negative square root of 50 is negative 7.07. But remember, when you're using negative numbers, they go backwards. So that is between negative 7 and negative 8. It's moving toward negative 8. All right. So let's see what this next one says. It says, graph a point on the line to represent the square root of 68. So let's do the square root of 68, and that gives me 8.2. So let me see if I can graph a point near 8.2. I would say that's pretty close right there, and that would be the square root of 68. So let's go on down, and the next thing we're looking at is figures. So that'll be our next video.